Hello and welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Candace Campos.
And I'm Lisa Bell. When we last had today's guests on, they were just getting ready to open their second location. Now they are opening 6 more with plans to take their business national.
Holy macaroni. Well, we are so happy to welcome back Jeff and Daniel Perera along with their new business partner, Justin Wetherell. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Welcome back. I finally get to officially meet you.
Yes.
Lisa had the honors of doing the last podcast with you, so now it's great to meet you guys.
You guys just keep growing. You're bringing more people in. You've got more locations.
Need a bigger table next time.
That's right. That is fantastic. So, to get people up to speed, you started Jeff's Bagel Run right in the midst of the pandemic. You were bored, right? Out of work.
Exactly.
And you were hungry, looking for a bagel,
Yes.
and you had the perfect task for your husband.
Yeah.
So give us a little recap of how Jeff's Bagel Run began.
Absolutely. So I lost my job in August of 2019, and Danielle said, "You're going to need something to do while you're adapting to your new role as a stay-at-home parent.
Right.
So make me a bagel." So I got to work.
Everyone started baking at that time.
Yeah.
I think there were, a lot of people started baking, and this was like pre-pandemic, but it was also right in the middle of it at the same time as things started to ramp up. So I made a bunch of trial batches, took months, figured it out, and came home. Danielle's like, "This is the one." She ate this bagel, and she said, "You finally got it right." And then I kept making them. I didn't stop. And she said, "You have to stop because I can't have all these. I can't have all these."
Waistline continues to expand.
Correct. Yeah, she's like, "I can't do this." You know, she's like, "I have to go to work every day, and like I have to fit in the clothes that I have to wear to work. So stop making me bagels." And we started giving them away. And then friends and family were like, "We'd buy these." I was like, "No one's gonna buy bagels from a stay-at-home dad off of his porch." Little did I know that
Joke's
they would.
on you.
I guess what you have to do every day now. Yeah. No. So we built a little website and grew a little social media following and started to sell bagels. And the pandemic rolled in, and it just became, it was a whirlwind. It really did never stop after that.
Because you guys kept on through 2020.
Yes.
Yeah. So all through 2020, we were online selling bagels. People were picking them up off our porch. We, as the world started to open up, the end of 2020, we started doing some markets. And into 2021, we were doing markets, and we realized we had a business. We knew something special was happening, and we had to try to find a space to do it because the home wasn't going to work. You know, I had 5 garage refrigerators with bagels in all of them, and it really became challenging to meet the demand that we had. And so we thought we found a commercial space, we could actually just do what we're doing at home and just take it to a space. And then that was April of 21. We signed our first lease, and
Is that the College Park one?
no, that was Ocoee. So April 21, we signed a lease there in Ocoee.
Yeah, we did a Kickstarter to help fund it, so that was pretty amazing because the community support was overwhelming, and I think that really motivated us. And like, I think once that happened,
Danielle was working full time, and once we did the Kickstarter and we realized how much support there was behind, she's like, "I want to kind of get in on this." And so we joked
I was working, I was doing a lot of like answering emails and doing a lot of this, stuff behind the scenes, and then he was trying to get me to like quit my job every day, and I was like, "No, I don't want to
Just wanted to spend more time with you. Really, that's what it was.
Exactly.
And eventually I kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, like we're going to go all in. We sold our house, so we could kind of have a cushion financially, and we just went for it.
When you say you sold your house, I mean, did you actually move somewhere
we
just so you had the money?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how much trust you had in your bagels. Because they're freakishly good bagels, by the way.
Thank you.
Our morning anchor, Bridget Ellison, goes there almost daily. You know her.
I do. We know her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for that. So you
Does
guys
she bring you any?
Well, we have
are there any
opposite
left?
shifts.
Yeah,
Are there any left? Absolutely, there are not any left by the time we get in. No.
Because I'm there.
She needs to increase her order. You need her to increase the order.
Yeah.
So both of you also have a background in retail, and it's amazing how you just had the right pieces in place when this blew up. You know, you had that background, you had a small website, you had a social media following. So when the world did shut down, you really took off. And it didn't obviously work that way for so many business owners.
Yeah, I think like our experience that translated into the business, which you didn't really think of that. You just don't think about it. You're like, okay, but if you've run businesses, if you've kind of managed people, if you've done some marketing or engagement with customers, like you sort of understand the customer experience, and you can then take that to a much smaller and even more meaningful experience with your customers because you actually see your customer every day, you get to know them, and I think that's what's really special and like why the support has been so great. So it's really interesting to see like those parallels, but I think because we had that experience, maybe some of the, when you get into running a restaurant, usually it's someone that's really maybe a great cook or really has a really great, recipe, but running a business is incredibly difficult. And I think that part wasn't the hard part for us. It was, kind of just like learning just the business and the growth and the expansion and like chasing some of it.
And speaking of growth and development, I mean, Justin, we have you now added to this podcast table.
Yes.
So how does Justin roll into the mix of Jeff's Bagel Run?
So I was spending a lot of time in College Park as we were opening it last year. And Min, call him the main character, he started coming into the shop, and friendly guy, bought bagels, coming the next day, bought some more bagels, was continuously chatting me up. And one day he just stopped me. He said, "Hey, are you the owner?" And I said, "I am." He's like, "I'm Min." And I said, "I'm Jeff. Nice to meet you." And he's like, "We love your bagels at the office." I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm so glad you enjoy them." And that was sort of the end of it. And
What you thought was the end of it.
What I thought was the end of it. Like a week later, he comes back. He's like, "I've been talking with my boss and like the team at the office. They we love your bagels so much. We'd love to do something." I'm like, "Great." I'm like, "Why don't you just send me some information? It'd be great to catch up." Or he emails me, I don't respond. He texts me, I don't respond. This is in like August, September goes by, October goes by.
Playing hard to get, huh?
Yeah.
I think my dad passed away, and so I think at that point in time it was really like just a lot going on, and so which turned out to be a blessing. I think all of it kind of worked out as it was meant to, but I think we just weren't open to that at that moment. But like Min was very relentless, which is amazing.
Persistent.
Yeah. You would prefer persistent.
He's prefer persistent.
And I think in January he like sent you a LinkedIn message. Like he's like tried every kind of.
He caught me everywhere. He finally was like, "Listen, I know you got a lot going on. If you're not interested, that's great. But Justin
he also told us who his boss was. I think so. That was part of it too.
He finally was like, "Listen, Justin's got a background in building a business. He'd love to meet with you guys. He loves your bagels. Really loves what you guys are doing. Thinks it'd be cool to chat." And so introduced us. Justin comes in. Stage right entry. And he, came to the shop. It was great. It was like such a, I don't know, I think about the experience we'd had with other people who were like, "Hey, we want to invest in you, or we want to help you." And I'm like, I don't need help. I'm running a fine business, right? Like, it just felt so different. And, Justin shared his story with us about how he built his business and where it started and it just was like I don't know, it's strange to say, like Danielle's like, it was a kinship. Yeah. She's like, I felt this
that's so
this
sweet.
connection to
like building something from scratch. There's not a lot of people that truly understand what that feels like the pain, the joy, all of it. And I think there was like this understanding, and I think that for us that was really nice. And just made the conversation more organic and just natural. And it was just like two people that have started a business, and let's talk about it. And so, I mean,
Justin, tell us about your business, because it's one that many people would recognize.
Yeah. So in 2009, I was fortunate to have started You Break, I Fix in my bedroom after breaking my own phone. And we grew it via corporate model for a couple years, and then 2012 started franchising. We sold the business in 2019. I think we had just over 500 stores at the time. And today there's, I think, 700 and change.
Wow.
At our peak, we were opening a store every other day.
Wow.
So that was just, I mean, I have always felt really blessed to have been a part of that story, and to be able to, work with my friends and build something we're all proud of was an experience that I'll never forget. And, meeting Jeff and Danielle, I came in with no expectations other than to meet them. Like, there wasn't about the money. It wasn't about getting a deal done. It was like, hey, this is an interesting business. Let's go see what they're up to, why they're up to it. I'll tell them about me and my experience. And if there's something to be had, then something happens. But there wasn't like an agenda going into it.
What was it about Jeff's Bagel Run that really caught your attention? Because obviously there are new restaurants that pop up and new cafes and shops every day in Central Florida.
This sounds ridiculous, but
go for it.
After stepping away from the day-to-day at You Break, I Fix, me and my brother were trying to figure out what to do next. And we actually started looking at bagel franchises. This is going back like in 2021. And we didn't, it seems like there's not a lot of creativity, or like no one's disrupting kind of bagels as we know it. There's the stalwart brands that we all know and are aware of, and there's not very many emerging brands in the space. So we struggled finding a brand that we were comfortable partnering with that had a vision different than what was already happening in the bagel space. So we ended up not doing anything. And then when Min brought Jeff's Bagels in, I was like, you know, these are good bagels. Like, and you know, Min is like, you want to meet them? I'm like, sure. That's fine. I didn't know, Min didn't really even know Jeff at the time. He was just going to honeypot them for 5 months. But honestly, the bagels were really good. And I liked them, and I enjoyed meeting Jeff and Danielle, and appreciated hearing their vision for the business. But I think what really made the difference was, I think our second or third meeting, they're like, why don't you just come bake with us? Like, come see the experience, work in the kitchen.
See if you can take the heat in the kitchen. I like that.
Yeah. And it sounds crazy, but I had never had like a hot bagel out of an oven before. And it was really, like, to me, that was really life-changing, and I think really sums up the opportunity I think we all have going forward, is like introducing the world to that experience. Because having never had a hot bagel, you know, I don't need cold ones anymore. It's not happening.
Yeah. So now this trio, I mean, now we're growing the business and we're growing it fast. So give us an idea of what you guys are expecting. I mean, Lisa said, what, 6?
Yeah.
Possibly?
That's just the beginning. That's
This
pretty
year.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, our intent is to get to 6 to 8 by the end of the year this year, which, you know, have signed multiple leases, are hoping to sign here some more in the near future. And then prove out, we've made some pretty material changes to the concept, created an open concept where we can bring people into the experience and educate them on how bagels are made, which I think will be interesting.
Yeah.
And change a little bit of that experience to make it more memorable. So we're going to get those stores open this year, and then, you know, we have pretty aggressive plans going
That
into
was
next
one
year.
of the first things that caught my attention when I came into your Akoe store, your first store, and you were actually behind the counter making the bagels. And I was like, whoa, you're doing this right now? And I was like, is that going to become a bagel? And yep, sure is. And, you know, you're just working as fast as you can. But I think for so many people, seeing the whole process is kind of an experience, and people are looking for an experience.
Absolutely.
100%. I think that there's a, you know, when Justin started thinking about bagels every day and thinking about going to bed thinking about bagels and waking up thinking about bagels.
Yeah,
you have, you know, we talked a lot about like just how we didn't have bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
Just like it was so focused, like run the store, wake up, bake the bagels, make the bagels, go home, take care of your kids, right?
and
like kind of like
hamster wheel.
stay
Absolutely.
Just
Keep the plate spinning, like, so nothing
correct.
drops.
Yeah. And so when Justin and the team of people that work with us now gives us so much more opportunity to like explore things that we have like only dreamed about. You know, and so the idea of like an open kitchen concept where you can come in and you can watch your bagel go from like being boiled into the oven, then come out, and you know it's going to be yours. Like, that's
Pretty cool.
My mouth is waters thinking about that.
But how long does that take?
12 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's still technically fast food.
Yeah.
you know, I think the interesting thing about it is that there'll always be hot bagels. They'll constantly be in a rotation.
Yes.
You know, as we start to fine tune kind of the processes and the operations and like put some technology behind it and try to figure out the best way to get hot bagels into the hands of people consistently. And you know, that's the fun part. Like, I think that's like a really fun part of expanding and growing this business. There's, you know, because you walk into every bagel shop and you can get a bagel. Hopefully it was made that day. And ours, it's definitely baked that day. But yeah, hot one's just different.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when I was little, I would go to the mall and you had that pretzel spot that you were watching the person spin the, you know, and to me it was like that was also the extra draw, knowing
Or the
that
hot donuts now. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
right,
thinking
hot
about.
donuts,
Yeah.
hot pretzels, hot bagels. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Hot
I think
cookies.
like and food is like tied to memory, right? So I think as a kid, like bagels were definitely my favorite food, still are. But you know, I remember very vividly going with my family or with my mom to like get bagels on the weekend and like seeing families come into the shop, and I like it is the best joy for me because I'm like creating this memory for kids.
Yeah.
Like there are people that draw Jeff pictures of bagels, and
It's so cute. I
So
love it, yeah.
like we're doing more than like just making bagels. Like I think we are building community and like creating this experience for families that, you know, for everybody. But I think for me as a mom and like what I love like I try to get my kids to come to the shop. They don't want to come because it's different for them, you know.
But making it a fun place to go.
Yeah, you can watch like the baker. Maybe that inspires some kid to be a baker someday. Like you just don't know. So it's just really cool to be able to step back and like work on the business. And we still work in the business. We're trying to continue to kind of step back but start to think about, okay, well, how do we grow this? How do we do this? Not just 2 times, but 3 times or 4 times, and build those systems. Incredibly fun.
And speaking of fun places to go, I saw recently at least the 2 of you, maybe you as well, were all in New York City doing a little recon.
Ooh. We were. We did a bagel pilgrimage to New York, and I think this is so interesting. I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to mention this when we talk about hot bagels. We visited 15 bagel shops in the greater New York area.
Do they know that you guys are also bagel people?
They're like, well, who are these people?
Did you go wearing these shirts?
We were wearing the shoes.
We all had the bagel dogs.
I definitely had Jeff's Bagel Run merch on. Okay. You know, I don't think they care. Nobody cares. You know. Who is this? Who is this guy? It's New York. So, but yeah, we were rolling. We had like 10 people. We rolled deep through bagel shops, and they were surprised. But in 15 shops, we only got 3 hot bagels.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Which is like it's really eye-opening. And, you know, kind of to Danielle's point about how food comes back to memory, we were all sitting around an unnamed bagel shop in New York City, and we're out there, we're eating the bagels, and so, you know, I just posted on Instagram that we were here, and someone messages, oh, that's the bagel shop I used to go to all the time when I was a kid. I love it. They have the best bagels. And I show the table the message, and everyone's like, these are not the best bagels. Yeah. but there's a memory connected to that. Like, so I think there is something about the experience, and there's something about, you know, just that feeling you have with your family or your community that is really valuable. And if we can double down on that with a delicious hot bagel, then
So we talked about your plans to expand. Give us some specifics on new locations opening up in Central Florida.
Yeah, so we've got leases signed in O-Town West, in Celebration, and in Winter Park.
Okay. And for people who may not be familiar, O-Town West is near Dr. Phillips.
Gerald Carter Parkway in Apopka Island.
Okay.
New development coming out of the ground up there near Lake Buena Vista High School. Portillo's, White Castle, a lot of...
That zone.
Yeah, a lot of big names have came to that area. It's where a lot of the tourist corridors moving now that Lake Buena Vista Commons, I think it was called, was destroyed to build the off-ramp for I-4.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, how far are you guys willing to go? Are you guys thinking like outside the state as well? Like, are you thinking hopping the border there and going national?
Like, to steal their own phrase, we're full bagel here.
Yeah.
So, I've had old franchisees from You Break I Fix in their stores, you know, a couple a week from different states that you know, I've worked with before, and you know, we feel like we trust with the brand. They're interviewing us, we're interviewing them, making sure it's a good fit. But yeah, we've got big aspirations for the business. I actually had 2 software engineers start today, which isn't the first role you'd think you'd hire for a bagel shop, but we see big opportunity in making hot bagels the norm in a bagel shop rather than the outlier. And part of that experience that we're building is you can order bagels that will bake for you. So like, you order a dozen, give us 15 minutes, we will bake your dozen to order.
And so your focus now is really developing the technology to make that happen.
Because I was thinking about it, you know, you'll have some people who've been with you from the start who say, okay, how can you keep up with the quality that you guys have always, you know, have been strong and true to when you're growing so fast? But there's a strategy behind that. Absolutely. Is what you're saying.
I think there's a commitment to doing that. You know, we are all really aligned in delivering quality, consistency, and I think we keep that mission in like our hearts is like baking fresh and bringing joy and building community. Like, and everything falls into that mission, then we're gonna get there and have more people have that experience.
And no pun intended, but this really does seem like a full circle moment for you guys, because you seem to have started out in your retail experience focused on process and streamlining things and being efficient. And now that's exactly what you're doing.
It's so fun.
Yes.
I mean, for me, So, I mean, my background's like operations, and it's really cool to actually see like the things that I've kind of done in my own way, and then apply technology to that is incredibly exciting. So it's super cool to see all of it come to life. And I think, we each bring something different. You know, we each have different experience. So it's very fun to have it come together, and you know, it's kind of what was necessary for us to grow.
All right, Justin, if you have to pick your favorite Jeff's Bagel Run bagel, what is it?
Yes, when you bring people in, you know, to sell them on this idea, what are you serving them?
Easy.
So easy. Rosemary salt bagel with chive and onion cream cheese. That's
every time.
That's my jam.
And we asked you, you didn't bring anything. You're like, well, this is our second day that we're closed, right?
For now, because today is it. This is the last day we will be closed.
Today's the last.
That's a big shift.
Well, today's the last Tuesday that will be like, we call it the days of sadness when we couldn't get a hot bagel. And so today will be the last day of sadness because starting when we open Wednesday, we'll stay open
7
days a week. Yeah. Excluding some holidays that are to be determined.
Is that a little terrifying for you?
Like 2 weeks ago, it was.
2 weeks ago, Danielle was.
It turns out if you just put on Instagram that we're hiring, that people will want to come work for us. So
well, that's good.
We staffed up. It's really just, again, taking all that experience and taking a minute and just saying, okay, how do we get this done? Do some interview, and we hired some really great people. We had some people come back that we had one girl that she went to college and she's like, oh, I'm back and I'm staying and I want to come back and work. We're like, yes. So just got to put the word out and,
I think that's part of like your challenge that you said earlier was like keeping that quality and that consistency as you grow and like even going from 5 days a week, which Danielle or I could be in the store every day, 5 days a week. Right. No big deal, right? It's a normal job.
Edge weekends. Right?
But now it's like I can't be in there 7 days a week. Yeah. We have other things we have to do.
You can't buy locally either.
And so I think there's like there's a finding the people who want to be in there and finding people who have that same commitment to a fresh baked product and keeping it simple. Like, I mean, it feels very complex to open all these stores and to have an open kitchen concept and you can watch your bagels. But the reality of it is we are baking hot bagels and serving cream cheese with delicious coffee. That's it.
Simple.
And it's easy to do. And just, you have to find people who are excited about it.
And we have an incredible team. Like, we are so grateful for our team because, they're as committed and passionate as we are. And when you find those people in your community that love the product, like, it comes through.
Right. So. Well, the next time you guys go on a bagel pilgrimage, please let us know. We'll be there along with you. We'll be number 12 and 13. Okay?
So fun.
You got to wear the shoes, though.
Deal.
Yeah, so exciting. We are so excited for you. We can't wait to see a Jeff's Bagel Run on every single corner across the country.
Thank you.
When's the timeline for that dream?
The timeline for across the country? I don't know. I'm hoping we can do it twice as fast as we did it with You Break I Fix, given the experience, me and the team and all of that. So we've got a pretty aggressive growth plan, and we're not shying away from investing in that in terms of people and technology to make it happen. So no commitments, but we've got big plans.
Remember the small people, right?
Yeah.
That you went on from. I mean, it's just
we'll
great.
still be in Ocoee slinging bagels several days a week. So
absolutely
7 days a week now.
Several, not 7
days a week.
We won't be there 7. But
Maybe.
Someone will be there slinging bagels.
Yeah.
Well, Danielle, Jeff, and Justin, thank you so much for joining us again, and we wish you all the best.
And if anybody wants to check you guys out,
how do they find you?
At Jeff's Bagel Run everywhere, literally everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We're also jeffsbagelrun.com. There's a ton of useful information there that is ever evolving. So, or just come by the shops in Ocoee and College Park.
Cool. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Florida Foodie. We'd also like to thank our guests, Jeff and Danielle Perera and Justin Wetherill. You can find their business online at jeffsbagelrun.com or search Jeff's Bagel Run on Facebook and Instagram. Be sure to follow Lisa Bell online. Search Lisa Bell News on Facebook and Instagram or Lisa Bell News 6 on Twitter. You can also find Candace Campos on social media. She's on Twitter. Just search @Candace News 6. On Facebook, search Candace Campos News 6. And on Instagram, search Candace Campos WX. Also, a big thank you to our technical producers, Derek Mosier and Ryan Haley, our post-production audio engineer, Chris Flora, and our production team, Rich Burns and Bob Myers. I'm the show's producer, Thomas Mates. Please take the time to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you stream podcasts. And you can find videos of all of our podcasts on clickorlando.com and on YouTube. Just search for Florida Foodie.